Okay, picture this. You are a monkey. It's about 10 million years ago, and you are hungry. You find a piece of fruit on the ground, but it's not fresh. It's mushy, it's warm. It's been sitting there for days, and it smells sharp, sweet, and rotten at the same time. You eat it anyway, and a few minutes later, the world goes a little soft. Your head buzzes. You feel, for the first time in your little monkey life, a bit tipsy. Congratulations, you have just discovered the single most important drug in human history. And you didn't even go looking for it. It found you. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you about that drink in your hand tonight. The craving for it is not a modern weakness. It is roughly 10 million years old. It is older than our species, older than walking upright. And the wildest theory in archaeology says it didn't just come along for the ride. It might be the reason we stopped being wandering apes and built the entire world. This is the story of how humans got drunk, and why 10 million years later, we still can't stop. So let's go back to that rotten fruit, because it explains everything. When a fruit gets ripe, it fills up with sugar, and when it falls to the ground and sits there, wild yeast lands on it and starts eating that sugar. And yeast, as it eats sugar, produces a waste product. That waste product is alcohol. This is fermentation, and it is happening in forests all over the planet for free, all the time. Now, a monkey up in the trees eats fruit while it's fresh and firm, hanging on the branch. But a monkey down on the ground finds the fruit that already fell. The overripe stuff, the fermenting stuff, the boozy stuff. And here's the beautiful part. That sharp alcohol smell travels. It drifts through the forest on the breeze. So if you're an animal that can smell alcohol, you have a superpower. You can smell exactly where the ripe, sugar-rich, high-calorie food is from far away without even seeing it. Alcohol wasn't the danger. Alcohol was the dinner bell. The scientist Robert Dudley called this the drunken monkey hypothesis. Our ancestors weren't accidentally getting drunk. They were following the smell of booze straight to the best meal in the forest. The buzz was just the side effect of eating well. But there's a problem with a diet of fermented fruit. Alcohol is a poison. Your body has to break it down fast, or it builds up in your blood and you get wasted. And a wasted monkey is a dead monkey. You can't climb, you can't run, you can't fight, you can't spot the leopard. So how did our ancestors eat the boozy fruit without dying? This is where it gets incredible, because we can point to the exact moment it changed, down to a single letter of DNA. Scientists compared the alcohol processing gene, called AD84, across dozens of primates, and they found that around 10 million years ago, in our direct ancestors, one tiny mutation appeared. One letter, and that one letter made the enzyme that breaks down alcohol work 40 times faster. 40 times. Overnight, in evolutionary terms, our ancestors went from getting sick off one rotten fig to being able to process it like it was nothing. And guess what else was happening around 10 million years ago? Our ancestors were coming down out of the trees and starting to live on the ground, right where all the fallen, fermenting fruit was. It fits perfectly. The apes that could handle their liquor got to eat the food no one else could. The ones that couldn't, didn't make it. You are descended from the ones who could hold their drink, literally. So sit with what that means for a second. That pull you feel toward a cold beer after a long day? That is not a character flaw. That is not modern life corrupting you. That is a 10 million year old survival instinct, an ancient wiring that says alcohol smell means calories, means survival, go get it. Running inside a brain that has no idea the game has completely changed. Because for 10 million years, alcohol meant a slightly off piece of fruit at maybe 1 or 2%. Your instinct was calibrated for that. And then, very recently, humans did something no other animal has ever done. We figured out how to take that faint, natural buzz and crank it up on purpose. We learned to brew. And the moment we did, this ancient fruit-finding instinct got pointed at a bottle of whiskey at 40%, 20, 30 times stronger than anything in nature. The craving is prehistoric. The liquor is brand new. That mismatch is the whole story of our relationship with alcohol, but it raises a bigger question, one that turns out to be one of the biggest mysteries in the history of our entire species. When did we start making the strong stuff on purpose, and why? To answer that, I have to take you to the single strangest turning point in human history. For about 2 million years, humans were hunter-gatherers, and honestly, they had it pretty good. They worked maybe a few hours a day. They ate a wildly varied diet. They were tall, strong, and their bones show relatively few signs of disease. Life was mobile, and by the standards of what came next, kind of easy. And then, around 12,000 years ago, in a few places around the world, humans did something that, on paper, looks completely insane. They stopped wandering, they settled down, they started farming, and farming at first was terrible. It meant backbreaking work from sunrise to sunset. It meant a boring diet of mostly one grain. So people got shorter, their teeth rotted, and new diseases spread through crowded villages. By almost every measure, the first farmers were worse off than the hunter-gatherers who came before them. So here is the trillion-dollar question that anthropologists have argued about for a century. Why on earth did we do it? Why would anyone trade an easy, healthy, free life for hard labor and gruel? And one of the most fascinating and most debated answers is 2 words long. Not for bread, for beer. This is called the beer before bread hypothesis, and it flips the whole story of civilization on its head. The standard version goes, humans learned to farm grain to make bread, to have reliable food, and full bellies let us build societies. Makes sense, boring, but sensible. The beer before bread idea says, hang on, what if the very first reason we bothered to grow grain wasn't to eat it? What if it was to ferment it? Think about it from a Stone Age point of view. You are a hunter-gatherer. You already know that if you soak wild grain in water and leave it, something magical happens. It turns into a bubbling drink that makes everyone at the gathering feel amazing, loose, happy, connected. That is worth a lot. That is worth staying in one place for. That is worth the incredibly annoying work of planting and guarding a field. In this version of history, bread is almost an accident, a byproduct. The thing people actually wanted, the thing they were willing to completely reorganize their lives around, was the buzz. We didn't settle down to eat, we settled down to drink together. And for a long time, this was just a fun theory with no proof. Until archaeologists dug up a hill in Turkey. The hill is called Göbekli Tepe, and it is one of the most mind-bending sites on Earth. It's about 11,000 years old, which makes it older than farming, older than the wheel, older than writing, older than Stonehenge by 6,000 years. And it is not a village, it's a temple. Enormous carved stone pillars, some 16 feet tall, arranged in giant rings, covered in carvings of lions, scorpions, and vultures. Here is what breaks your brain. It was built by hunter-gatherers. People with no farms, no metal, no permanent homes hauled and carved 20-ton pillars and gathered here over and over for centuries. Why? What could possibly be worth that? And when archaeologists looked closer, they found something in the stone. Huge limestone troughs, big enough to hold 40 gallons of liquid each, and inside them, chemical traces of oxalate, a residue that forms when you soak and ferment grain. In other words, the evidence suggests that at humanity's oldest temple, people were brewing beer, vast quantities of it. So the picture that emerges is this. Hunter-gatherers came together at a sacred site to feast, to build something huge, and to drink. And doing that again and again in the same place may have been exactly what pushed them to finally plant that wild grain nearby, so the party would never have to stop. The temple came first, then the farm, then everything else. But this leaves one last question, and it's the deepest one. Why would a drink be powerful enough to build a civilization? Why not just gather and drink water? Here's the answer, and it's genuinely brilliant. For most of history, the hardest problem humans had wasn't food, it was each other. We are a species of suspicious, tribal, easily threatened primates, and to build anything big, a temple, a town, a nation, you have to get large groups of strangers to trust each other and cooperate. That is really, really hard. And alcohol, it turns out, is a chemical shortcut for exactly that. A few drinks lowers your guard. It quiets the part of your brain that's always calculating, always suspicious. It makes you laugh with people you just met. It makes you honest, generous, a little vulnerable. And doing that together in a group builds trust faster than almost anything else. The scholar Edward Slingerland argues that this is alcohol's secret role in history. It's a social technology. It's the thing that let a room full of wary strangers become a community. Getting a little drunk together around a fire may literally be one of the tools that made large-scale human cooperation possible. Every toast, every cheers, every round of drinks, it's an ancient ritual for the same thing. I'll lower my guard if you lower yours. Let's trust each other. Now, I have to be honest with you, because this story has a dark second half, and pretending it doesn't would be a lie. Alcohol is also straightforwardly a poison. It's a toxin your liver has to fight off. It's a carcinogen. It's linked to millions of deaths a year, to addiction, to violence, to ruined lives. The same chemical that may have helped build the first temple destroys real people every single day. And here's the cruelest part. It goes right back to that 10-million-year-old gene. Your body still treats alcohol like it's a slightly off piece of fruit. Your ancient instinct still says, "This smell is good, get more." But you're not sipping 1% fruit anymore. You're drinking the concentrated stuff in a world where it's cheap and everywhere and endless. The instinct that once kept our ancestors alive is now, for a lot of people, the thing that kills them. That's not a flaw in you. It's a 10-million-year-old survival tool that the modern world has turned into a trap. And I also have to be straight about the history. The beer before bread idea is a hypothesis, not a settled fact. Smart people still argue about it, but the deep truth underneath it isn't in doubt at all. So let's zoom all the way out. About 10 million years ago, one letter of DNA changed, and a hungry ape gained the power to eat the fermented fruit that would have killed anything else, and passed a taste for the buzz down through 10 million years, all the way to you. That instinct pulled our ancestors down from the trees, and it may have pulled them out of the wandering life entirely, gathering them at a temple, around a fire, over a shared drink. In the moment, civilization began. Alcohol is a fruit-finding trick that became the glue of society and a poison we still can't put down, all at once. So the next time you're holding a drink, look at it for a second. That is not just a beverage. That is one of the oldest relationships our species has. 10 million years of instinct, a mystery buried under a hill in Turkey, and the strange, blurry line between the thing that built us and the thing that breaks us. You were never weak for wanting it. You're just very, very old. And if you like this, there's a whole universe of why waiting for you. Subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.